All right, so this video came out of a problem that we kept running into over and over again. Sales calls were fine, funnels were fine, but every call still started the same way. Reps were asking discovery questions, prospects were trying to explain the situation from the scratch, and way too much time was spent figuring out what the call should even be about. So, in this video, I'm going to show you how we're building an end-to-end quiz funnel that handles all of that before the call even happens. We're using Claude Code, Supabase, GitHub, and Netlify to generate the entire thing, front-end logic, database, literally automatically. And this isn't a personality quiz or some marketing gimmick. It's a real system that diagnoses where the prospect is at, routes them into the right sales flow, gives your rep full context before the call, and sends a prospect a useful asset after they book. You can drop this into your booking funnel, use it as a main opt-in form, or even replace your traditional discovery altogether. So in this video, again, I'm going to break down how the quiz is structured and generated, how we store and score responses in Supabase, how Claude turns answers into sales-ready insights, and how the output becomes something that your reps actually want to use. So if you're tired of discovery calls that feel repetitive and dependent way too much on the rep, this solves that. Let's walk through how now. All right, so first I want to show you what this actually looks like in practice. So as you can see, this is a real website live right now. You guys could actually go to this and fill out my quiz. So once you go here, we're going to enter the company name. So we can enter RevPilot. And we're going to say we are an agency and consulting company. Average deal size is anywhere from 10 to 25,000. Monthly revenue goal, 200 to 500,000. How many new leads are you generating per month? 150. So as you can see, you just click through this entire thing. Now, once we get to the end, it's going to generate an entire report. It's going to show whoever takes this. It's about 41 questions, so it's quite lengthy. It's going to show them every detail about their sales process, where leads are slipping through the cracks, how much revenue that they're losing each month, how many deals are missing, their average speed to lead time, and then it prioritizes everything else in what order they should fix, from the CRM blueprint to mapping out their workflows and auditing their current workflows, etc. Okay. Now, another example of what you can use the same system for is a landing page. So you can see here this beautiful landing page that we have 100% done with Claude Code and the exact system that I'm about to show you. So everything is really, really beautiful here. We also have another landing page right here. So this is like a call confirmation or thank you page. Now, we only need 4 tools to actually get this done. So all you need to do is go create a couple accounts. And the best part about this is it is extremely affordable to do this because you're hosting it on your own server, you're developing your own web app technically, and then we're doing our own code. So the first thing that we need to do is create a GitHub account. So you just go to github.com and create your account. You can literally just sign in with Google, and then you'll get to a screen like this. Once we get to a screen like this, we're going to click new and we're going to name our repository whatever we want it to be. So in this situation, I'm going to call it quiz funnel, let's say 2v2. Okay. And then you can choose how you want to host it. I usually do private for my repositories, and we're going to click create repository. And then boom, we have a new repository. Okay. Next thing we want to do is go into Claude Code and refresh Claude Code. Now, I recommend upgrading Claude Code to the professional tier because you will hit limits if you spend time inside of Claude Code. It's well worth the $100. If not, you can start at $20. So you want to click on this little drop down right here, and then you want to find the new piece that we're going to, so quiz funnel V2. You will see it right here in the drop down. You're just going to select that. Okay. Now, we also want to have a Netlify account. So you can just create an account there, and then a Supabase account. Okay. Now, you don't need Supabase if you're not going to store these answers anywhere. You could technically webhook them or something to an alternative location or alternative database. You could send them to a Google Sheet potentially. You could use Zapier. But if you want to store them in an actual database, then you need to make sure that you do have Supabase set up. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to come in here and we're going to just prompt Claude. So role, we're going to set the role for this agent. So the prompt that we have is, you are an experienced web developer with over 20 plus years of experience. You balance great code base, project architecture, and UI UX. The outcome, we want to create a beautiful quiz funnel that we can use prior to a sales call. The quiz funnel is a complete understanding of our prospect. Our product is to help busy entrepreneurs between the age of 25 and 45 get in the best shape of their life. We use a combination of practices focusing on sleep, weightlifting, fat loss, muscle gain, nutrition, gut health, and stress reduction. The quiz should take them through about 25 questions that analyze exactly where their current levels are and where they actually want to be. It then ranks each thing in a level of priority and importance for the exact for example, if their sleep is really bad, that would take priority over gut health. Please do deep research to identify what questions make the most sense for this quiz. The logic behind should be sound and should give them an asset at the end that they can use, including a basic start to their diet that they should be on based on their goals, including macros, calories, and exercise. So you guys can choose whatever prompt you want based on your business and however you want this quiz to actually function. But it does a very, very good job at actually writing the questions and then the logic behind it. So once we enter that prompt, we hit enter, it's going to create the repository and the project inside of GitHub. So as you can see, it's understanding the task. It's currently doing the web search to identify what kind of scoring units it should reuse, what kind of symptom scoring. It's got all kinds of different stuff in there. So it's actually going to do the deep research, hence why I told it to do deep research, so it can get a better idea of what the quiz should actually be before actually building it. All right. And while this process is, if you guys yourselves are struggling with things like connection rates, show up rates, follow up, your CRM is just a mess. Maybe you have automations that aren't working and you just feel like something is missing from your actual sales process. Maybe revenue is slipping through the cracks. Then go ahead and click the link in the description below. Schedule a time to talk with me or someone on my team. We could definitely point you in the right direction. Otherwise, check the other videos out after this video on our channel. We have everything from close CRM to HubSpot to AI on this channel to ensure that you guys are able to pull as much money out of the leads that you've already generated. We are back. So once we generate that prompt, you can see here we have all of this that it's done. It's gone through, it's developed all of this. Now you will see a result here at the end. So we have key features, personalized nutrition plan, priority ranking system, exercise recommendations, beautiful UI UX, and the actual tech stack. Okay. So basically it says run locally here. All we need to do now is come into Netlify, like I said. So you're going to go to your Netlify, you're going to click add project, import from an existing project, click GitHub, and then it's going to ask you to authorize GitHub if you haven't previously. As you can see, mine is authorized. So then we're going to see all of our projects here. So all we need to do is come down to quiz funnel V2, and then I recommend copying the name so it's the same across the board. And then we're going to click there. Okay. Next up, we're going to click deploy funnel. So as soon as we start doing this, we're going to see a build start right here, and we can see it is in progress. So this is either going to fail or it's going to pass. A lot of the time, you're not going to have any issues. It's going to pass. If it fails, I'm going to show you exactly what to do. If it passes, then we'll go look at the website. The cool part is about Netlify is it has an AI debugging feature. So you can click find out why it failed. It'll provide you a piece of code. You click copy, and then you just paste that right into Claude, and it'll go fix that error. Typically, the errors that you would see are going to be something like a TypeScript issue. Very, very easy to actually fix in the code base. All right. Now, once this is done running, again, we're going to have a completely live funnel on this actual website, and you can change your domain. So if you just come into domain management right here on the left-hand side, you can actually switch that. But it is already on a domain. So if we click open production deploy, we can see right here, boom, we have this all set up right here, and then we can click start my free assessment. Now you can see that something went seriously wrong in the UI UX of this. So before we even proceed, I'm just going to come right back over here. I'm going to say, please do a debug and analysis of the UI UX. It seems there is a major issue. Please make sure this has a clean and usable format that has a futuristic feel to it. And that's really all you have to do. Let it go do its thing. It's going to analyze that pretty quickly and figure out what is wrong. Probably take another 3 to 5 minutes to actually do that. Now, I personally, usually 99% of the time, it doesn't come out like this. But, I mean, it's still going to work, but the UI is pretty poor there. So we definitely need to fix it. I wouldn't even waste your time filling this thing out. But we can do it real quick. Biological sex, male, perfect. What is your height in centimeters? Let's say 180. What is your current weight? Now, you want to take note of things like this because it's doing centimeters and kilograms. Now, if you have US-based clients, we clearly know that that is not the use case. So we need to make sure we chat to it and say, hey, switch us from centimeters and kilograms to, pounds and feet. Or you can ask it to do both and have a drop down, right? Or maybe ask your country of origin in the beginning, and then it'll automatically select if it should be in kilograms or feet or pounds. Sorry. So pretty straightforward there. Now you can see that it's saying it's found issues, and it's taking a look at it right now. Now, what I didn't do that I highly recommend when you're debugging like this is I would take a screenshot real quick of this and make sure Claude has that. I'm not going to do it right now, but I screenshot everything and added there for that additional context. I didn't do this. I should have done it in this exam. All right, so we are back. That one simple prompt, please do a debug analysis of the UI UX. It seems there's a major issue. It did a bunch of diagnosis, et cetera, et cetera. Now, the cool part is when you have Netlify connected like this, it is going to auto publish your next branch. So we can see here, this already published and we have the website live, which means we literally just have to come in here and refresh. Okay. So there we go. It looks a lot better now. I still don't love the spacing and stuff here. So I'm going to click start my free assessment, and you can see there's still something categorically wrong inside of here. So let's go ahead and screenshot this time, and you'll see the difference of the two. So I'm going to screenshot this, and then we are just going to upload it as a file. So we're going to go to desktop and find that file. So there we go. Now, something else you want to check, and it popped into my head just now, is making sure that we are on Opus. You do not want to be on Sonnet for this. It should default to Opus, but make sure you are on there. And then we're just going to click submit, and then we'll give this a few minutes and we'll be right back. We've added the screenshot and it has gone in. It's fixed any of the issues. So for some reason, the CSS was not actually applying. So now, that is why we want to add the screenshot, because it gives the context. Okay. So this should have already deployed. We can see the new branch right here. We want to click open production deploy. And we're going to see the new production deploy here. And look at that. The UI is fixed. It looks a lot better. Now we can click start free assessment, and there we go. So enter your age, 32 years old. I am a male. Height in centimeters, I think I'm like 189 or something, 6'2", I don't know. And in kilograms, I'm 225, so it'd be half of that. So let's say 112. Continue. What is your experience level with fitness and nutrition? Advanced. And there we go. So it's got this really nice animation right there. Boom. It's going to redirect, and then it should show something. Now, again, this might be another bug. So it looks like when it redirected, we ran into an issue. I don't think this is going to load. So we got to find out why. So we're going to come back here. Hey, it looks a lot better, but when I submitted the quiz, it seems to have gone to a black page. Please fix this ASAP. Please also make sure to add pounds and feet / centimeter, feet / inches for US based people. We can just add a question that asks them the country before starting. There we go. So as soon as it's done, we'll be back. We'll go through it one more time. We probably should be good to go at that point. All right, and we are back. So it looks like it has fixed the issues right here. So we're going to go ahead and test one more time. Again, you always want to check and make sure that your new deploy has been published, so we can see the published was there. We don't need to do anything other than just refresh. Now, I'm going to go through this for this next time offline, so you guys don't have to wait on that. But you can see here now we do have which measurements do you prefer? Right is the first question. All right, so I'm going to do imperial, and then I'm going to go through these, and we will get to the last question, and then I'll come back. We're on question 30. We're going to test this one more time after doing that quick debug. So we're going to select lack of time right here, and then we're going to say advanced. So it's going to generate this little animation again, and then boom, it is going to deploy or show us what is going on. So priority focus areas: sleep, stress, exercise, gut health, nutrition needs to improve, but you can see how it ranked needs attention on these top two. Nutrition plan, it's going to give me an example nutrition plan. So BMR, TDEE based on my body, 4 grams of protein, 276 grams carbs, 83 grams of fat, daily water intake, expected progress, right? Exercise plan gives me kind of a breakdown, and then it has an email submission right here. And then we have a book your free strategy call button right here. Okay. Now, depending on where you put this into your funnel, if you're going to do this on a sales call, if you're going to do this as a pre-call asset before your sales call, if you're going to do it in your funnel after they book the call on the thank you page, you can decide what you want in here as far as, do you want to email it to them? Do you want them to, display it on the call? So maybe you get an email internally. If you want to store this information, you do need to make sure that it is connected to Supabase, okay? So I'm going to show you how to connect it to Supabase in 1 minute. Now, something that I do want to note here is we ran into that bug with the black screen that you saw because I did not let Claude Code know what tools we were using. So something, again, I'm going to give you a template on what to use for the prompt. Normally, I would have a much longer prompt, but for that initial prompt, we also want to let it know we are going to be deploying on Netlify and if we're going to be using Supabase or not, so that it has the context and deploys that correctly, okay? So the more you can kind of think ahead on some of these things, letting it have more context, the more bugs you're going to prevent. Typically, when I go through a workflow like this, I have virtually no bugs whatsoever. The only bugs that we do run into typically are when we're doing large, like advanced queries with Supabase and stuff for things like dashboards and other projects that can get pretty complex. And they're not even really a bug typically. It's more so just the way I wanted it to be done, and maybe it wasn't in alignment, okay? So to connect a database to this, we're going to come back and go, okay, perfect. Now I want to be able to capture the person's name and email, as well as all of the application data, and store it directly in the database. We need to create a database structure using Supabase. I will provide the keys for you. Period. We also need to make sure that you provide the SQL query for copy and paste. Now, if you don't know how to do this, again, it will provide the instructions for you. Just ask for the instructions, but I'm just preceding this a little bit because I've done it enough times. So when we come into Supabase, we're going to create new project. Now we're going to name this whatever the name of the Netlify. So we're just going to do the same thing again. Like I said, just keep everything the same name. So boom. Now, depending on what size you want, you can see here, we're going to do 1 gigabyte of RAM, about $10 a month, or 0.01344 per hour that it's actually running, right? And then I'm going to select Americas, and then we're just going to create a password real quick for this database. Now I'm going to create this project. You're going to say, yes, I understand that this is going to cost money, right? I believe they let you do 1 free server or project at a time, but we obviously have a bunch running. So next thing we want to do is grab the project URL. So we're going to copy this. We're going to say project URL, and we're going to paste that in there. And then we're going to say we're going to come in here. We're going to get the service key. So we want to go over to the left-hand side. We want to go to project settings. We want to go to API keys, and then we are going to grab the actual API key. So I'm going to grab this secret key here. So I'm going to copy that API key, and then I'm going to paste this into close. So, and actually something I like to do is go to legacy anon right here and grab this instead. So I'm going to grab the public anon right here. And we're going to go in here. We're going to go public, anon. Now, again, it will request this information from you, but I just like to do this myself. So we're going to go now here, and we're going to go service level key. and we're going to paste that in there as well. So we're going to hit enter. I'm going to come back in just a moment. As soon as this is done writing the query, we're going to paste that query into Supabase, create the database. It should connect all the parameters that we need. Then I'll have to add the parameters to Netlify, which again is a very easy step. We'll show you exactly how to do that. All we have to do is come into project configuration, and then we're going to go down to the environment variables right here. And then we're going to add a environment variable. So I'll show you how to do that in just a moment. You can see here, it has finished our request. So when you scroll through this, we're going to see two things. So it's going to say done. Here's the SQL schema. So the first thing we want to do is copy this right here and go to our database. So this is the database we created. Navigate to this left-hand side, click on SQL editor, click right here, paste this in here, and then click run, verify no errors happen. So it's going to run that. It will take a moment the first time, but that's all you need to do. Now that that has been done, you can verify that your tables have been created. You can go to the database and see the actual structure right here, or we can just go to the table editor and we can see quiz leads, and then we can see each of the columns. Now, this is obviously a very simple database because there's only a few fields that we need, but it is going to store all of our information in there, and you can use this same process for any other type of database that you want to create for projects like this, okay? Now, the next thing we need to do is scroll down here. And as I mentioned, we have the Netlify environment variables. So we are going to grab this URL, next public Supabase URL. We're going to paste that right there. We're going to come back here. We're going to grab this value, and then we're going to paste this in here and click create variable. That's all we need to do. And then we're going to create a second one for this service key right here. So we're going to grab this anon key. We're going to paste that right there. We're going to come back here and we're going to copy this whole key. Make sure you don't leave anything off. We're going to paste that in there and click create variable. Okay. Now, once we do that, I like to do another deploy. So typically what I'll do, and you can actually see our code failed right here. So this is a perfect example to show you why it failed. So you have this little button right here, uses AI. You just click on that guy. It's going to debug what happened in that deployment. So we'll be able to check this log. So we'll give it a second here. It's usually pretty quick, maybe a minute. And then it's going to tell us exactly what went wrong with this deployment. I always recommend checking your deployments before testing the new lander or testing anything out, because if you skip over steps, you will run into problems. So do it in order, make sure everything's working, and then go back. So we can see right here, like I said in the beginning of the video, actually, there's a TypeScript issue. So, and then we also don't have the variables in there. So we're going to copy this. Hello, I added the variables to Netlify and also created the database with the query you sent me. I did get this error on the last deploy, though. I am not sure if you deployed before I had added the variables. Here is the error. So we'll pop that in there. We'll get it in a second. I think it might just be because it deployed before we had added the variables, which is why I was going to do a redeploy anyways. So we're going to give it a second. We're going to figure out what actually went wrong. So now, again, you can always trigger a new deploy anytime by clicking right here, and you can deploy project, or you can deploy project without the cache. Sometimes you do have some caching that needs to be cleared out. So from time to time, it doesn't hurt to do the deploy project without cache to make sure you're cleaning up any caching issues as you go through this. Okay. So we'll give this a second here. This is an error because the static build pre-render, the environment variables aren't available. So essentially, it should be good, I believe. We'll see what it decides to fix, but I think we just need to redeploy. So we'll be back in just a moment. Yeah, it looks like it just essentially did the deployment too early. So we have the new deployment. It already pushed. It is live right here. So we are going to go through this one more time just so you can actually see the submit. And this will be pretty much the end of this video. You guys can use this for whatever you want in the future. Hopefully it sparks a lot of good ideas on how you can use this inside of your funnel to generate leads, to qualify leads, et cetera, et cetera. One of the best things you can do here is actually qualified leads inside of here. So if they are looking for something maybe that isn't in your wheelhouse, you could recommend them out or disqualify them. You could add some financial qualifiers inside of here, et cetera, et cetera. Now, just for the sake of time, I'm just going to click through this really quickly, and we'll just select a bunch of different things. So and it's pretty quick. Now, I do recommend the UI here is a little over the top, if you will. So I probably would tone down the colors and the overlays and everything. But obviously, you can see it is beautiful. It's got this nice animation at the top, the loading bar. It's really beautiful, and you can change this to be however you want. If you want a gradient in the background, you can add that. If you want different colors, just provide the colors that you want. You can even provide a website, say make it look like this. So you have a lot of flexibility on what you want it to actually look like. But as you can see, we clicked through this. We are almost there. And boom. Okay. So it's going to analyze my results. It's going to provide that. Now, here's the lead form we just talked about. So let's do Jordan at RevPilot.com. And then we're going to click get my results. Now you can see here we get another error. So essentially this just means that the there's security on the row. So we'll do a screenshot of this. We're going to paste this in here. So it's probably going to have me adjust the permissions inside of the MySQL database. So let me add this screenshot. See how quick that was. Copy this. I'm going to go ahead and go back to our SQL editor, and it wants me to paste this new SQL query in here. So we are going to delete this right here. Boom. Run that, run this query. And that is successful. So, all right, perfect. So let's test this again. So we're going to do Jordan at RevPilot.com. And let's see if that works. So it still has some issue with this rows. If above doesn't work, you can temporarily disable. So let's go ahead and just disable this real quick for a test. So we're just going to come back here. We're going to delete this. We're going to paste this. We're going to run that. It's going to disable that security on the rows. And then we're going to come back to our site. So where is it? There it is. Boom. And just like that, it's submitted. Okay. So now we are good to go. So they have this, and then we can check our tables, and we should, in theory, have the data inside of here once we refresh. So we should see that submission all added into here. And there it is. So we have the lead capture, and we have all of the data from the actual application that they filled out, right? Now, you will want to turn on RLS, but for the sake of this video, that is pretty much it. So now you have a live website. You can customize it however you want. You can continue to improve it. You have all of the logic in there. You're capturing the lead. You're sending it to a server, and it's ready to go. So really, really incredible. You can use this for all kinds of different things, but at the end of the day, I just hope this video is helpful. I hope it sparks some creativity inside of your sales process and ignites some excitement for what is actually possible inside of your sales process that you may or may not already be doing. Again, if you want us to help out with things like this, fixing your CRM, getting more people to show up to their appointments, making sure follow up and deals are actually being closed, leads aren't slipping through the cracks, then feel free to schedule a time to talk with me or someone on my team, and we'll point you in the right direction. Cheers.